Vande Mataram completes 150 years. Written by Bankim Chandra Chattopadhyay. Adopted as India's national song in 1950. Why did Nehru drop certain stanzas? NewsX decodes its literal translation.
Hello and welcome to Xplained, brought to you by NewsX. My name is Vineet Malhotra. Vande Mataram, India's national song and an enduring symbol of the Indian independence movement, turns 150 years old today. Well, the song was written and composed by Bankim Chandra Chattopadhyay in 1875 and first published in the literary journal Banga Darshan. It is generally believed that the concept for Vande Mataram came to Bankim Chandra Chattopadhyay while he was still working as a government official. Around the same time, the administration was trying to promote God Save the King as the anthem for Indian subjects, which Indian nationalists disliked. Bankim Chattopadhyay later included the song in his 1882 book, Anand, set in the events of the Sannyasi Rebellion, the first major anti-British independence struggle in India. The colonial government went on to ban the book and make the recital of the song in public a crime. Born in June 1838 to an orthodox Bengali family in Nehati, Bengal Presidency, Bankim Chandra Chattopadhyay was a key figure in literary renaissance of Bengal as well as the broader Indian subcontinent. The author held a degree in arts as well as law before joining the subordinate executive service. He also went on to become deputy magistrate and deputy collector before retiring from government service in 1891 when he received the title of Rai Bahadur. The nationalist author penned 14 novels and many serious pseudo-comic, satirical, scientific and critical treatises in Bengali. In fact, he is known as the Sahitya Samrat or the Emperor of Literature in Bengali. The depth of his influence can be felt if you take a look at his contribution to the Indian freedom struggle and his role in creating nationalist symbols that are used to this day, such as the image of Bharat Mata, Vande Mataram, the hymn to the motherland, Anand, the novel that inspired generations of freedom fighters, as well as his reinterpretation of the Bhagavad Gita that strongly influenced nationalism. Vande Mataram, in fact, became such an important part of the freedom struggle that it was adopted by the Republic of India as its national song in 1950. First gaining political significance after being recited by Nobel laureate Rabindranath Tagore at the Calcutta Congress session in 1896, the song became popular amongst political activists and freedom fighters as a marching song by 1905. Composed in Sanskritized Bengali during a spontaneous session by Bankim Chandra, musician and composer Jadunath Bhattacharya was asked to set a tune for this poem just after it was written. Well, the first translation of Bankim Chandra Chattopadhyay's novel Anand, including the poem Vande Mataram into English by Naresh Chandra Sen Gupta, the poem is an ode to the motherland, personified as Mother Goddess, literally translating to I bow to thee, Mother. Let's first take you through the meaning behind the first two stanzas of the poem that were later adopted as India's national song. The first two verses of the song go as follows: Mother, I bow to thee, rich with thy hurrying streams, bright with thy orchard gleams, cool with the winds of delight, dark fields waving, mother of might, mother free, glory of moonlight dreams, over thy branches and lordly streams, clad in thy blossoming trees, mother, giver of ease. Laughing low and sweet, mother, I kiss thy feet, speaker sweet and low, mother, to thee I bow, who had said, thou art weak in thy lands. When the swords flash out in 70 million hands and 70 million voices roar, thy dreadful name from shore to shore. With many strengths, who art mighty, are strong, to thee I call Mother and Lord, thou who savest arise and save. To her I cry, whoever her foe men drove back from plain and sea, and shook herself free. While the sheer emotion evoked by these lines may provide some insight into why it became one of the most popular songs of protest during the Indian independence movement, Although recital of the song was banned by colonial government, many activists were imprisoned by the colonial government for disobeying the order. However, that did not deter workers and general public from repeatedly violating the ban many times by gathering together in the presence of colonial officials and singing it. Popularized by Rabindranath Tagore, who recited it at the Calcutta Congress session held at Bidon Square in 1896, the song went on to be adopted and popularized by many prominent figures. Apart from Tagore, Dakhina Charan Sen sang it 5 years later in 1901 at another session of the Congress at Calcutta. Poet Sarla Devi also sang the song in the Banaras Congress session in 1905. Lala Lajpat Rai, another hero of the Indian freedom struggle, started a journal called Vande Mataram from Lahore. Hiralal Sen made India's first political film in 1905, which ended with the popular chant. Indian revolutionary Mantangini Hazara's last words as she was shot to death by the Crown Police were Vande Mataram. In 1907, when Bikaji Kama created the first version of India's national flag, it had Vande Mataram written on it in the middle, banned. Looking at the way the song was intertwined into the Indian freedom struggle, not just by a few, but by seeping into the nation's consciousness, one cannot help but wonder why the song did not become India's national anthem. Well, Mahatma Gandhi supported the adoption and singing of the Vande Mataram song and said in a speech given in Guwahati, Assam in 1946, that Jai Hind should not replace Vande Mataram. Gandhi reminded everyone present that Vande Mataram was being sung since the inception of the Congress. He supported the Jai Hind greeting but stated that it should not mean the exclusion of Vande Mataram. The Mahatma was concerned that those who discarded Vande Mataram, given the tradition of the sacrifice behind it, would one day discard Jai Hind also. However, controversy over the song soon emerged. From the outset, some sections of the Muslim community objected to the song, viewing its portrayal of India as Hindu goddesses as idolatrous and incompatible with Islamic monotheism. Leaders like Muhammad Ali Jinnah and the Muslim League argued that it promoted Hindu nationalism over a secular ideal. These objections peaked in the 1930s during the push for independence. In 1937, parts of the Vande Mataram were chosen as the national song in 1937 by the Indian National Congress as it pursued the independence of India from colonial rule. A committee consisting of Maulana Azad, Jawaharlal Nehru, Subhash Chandra Bose, Acharya Dev and Rabindranath Tagore recommended the adoption. However, keeping in mind the objections being raised, the song was adopted with a compromise. According to the gathered leaders, including Nobel laureate Rabindranath Tagore, though the first two stanzas began with unexceptionable evocation of the beauty of the motherland, in later stanzas there are references to the Hindu goddess Durga. Thereafter, with the support of Mahatma Gandhi and Jawaharlal Nehru, the Indian National Congress decided to adopt only the first two stanzas as the national song to be sung at public gatherings, and other verses that included references to Durga and Lakshmi were expunged. So what was in the stanzas that were removed is the question. Well, the deleted stanzas read as follows. Thou art wisdom, thou art law, thou art heart, our soul, our breath, thou the love divine, thou awe in our hearts that conquers death, thine the strength that nerves the arm, thine the beauty, thine the charm, every image made divine. In our temples is but thine. Thou art Durga, lady and queen, with her hands that strike and her swords of sheen. Thou art Lakshmi, lotus throne, and the muse, 100-toned. In a letter to Muhammad Ali Jinnah, Nehru elaborated on the committee's decision to remove the above stanzas. Nehru stated, first of all, it has to be remembered that no formal national anthem has been adopted by the Congress at any time. It is true, however, that the Vande Mataram song has been intimately associated with Indian nationalism for more than 30 years, and numerous associations of sentiment and sacrifice have gathered around it. Nehru went on to say, when some objections were raised, the working committee considered the matter and decided that certain stanzas which contained certain allegorical references might not be used on nation platforms or occasions. The two stanzas that have been recommended by the working committee for use as a national song have not a word or a phrase which can offend anybody from any point of view, and I am surprised that anyone can object to them. They may appeal to some more than the others, some may prefer another national song, and they have full freedom to do so. When India gained independence in 1947, the country needed national symbols. The stanzas, making references to Goddess Durga and Goddess Lakshmi, led to a fierce debate in the Constituent Assembly. While some argued that Vande Mataram had earned the right thoughts, its role in the freedom movement, others felt that Jana Gana Mana, written by Rabindranath Tagore in 1911, was more inclusive and universal. Jawaharlal Nehru, India's first Prime Minister, reportedly supported the adoption of Jana Gana Mana as the national anthem, saying India's anthem must unite, not divide. Finally, on the 24th of January 1950, just 2 days before India became a republic, the Constituent Assembly under Dr. Rajendra Prasad's presidency formally adopted Vande Mataram as the national song of India. Dr. Rajendra Prasad asserted during the session, the song Vande Mataram, which has played a historic part in the struggle for Indian freedom, shall be honoured equally with Jana Gana Mana and shall have equal status with it. Well, in recent years, Vande Mataram has occasionally resurfaced in political discourse, debated over issues of nationalism, identity and secularism. However, from the dusty lanes of colonial Bengal to the global stage of independent India, Vande Mataram continues to remain a symbol of sacrifice, courage and unity.
Vande Mataram completes 150 years. Written by Bankim Chandra Chattopadhyay. Adopted as India's national song in 1950. Why did Nehru drop certain stanzas? NewsX decodes its literal translation.